Hello, my name is Hannah Yaawusuah Adjepong. I am a retired nurse midwife, a poet, and a children's author. My husband and I have lived in the United Kingdom for 30 years, and my husband works as a surgeon, and in those days I used to work in hospitals and nursing homes. My experience of racism was that my son, we have 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. My older son, he was only 6 years old. And he went to school one day and I was told that my son couldn't go to the dining room to eat with the other children. There weren't many black kids in the school. I think it would be about 2 or 3 black kids in the school at the time. And so I asked what happened. They said my son was very disruptive and his little desk and chair had been removed from the class and put by the head teacher's office. So in front of the head teacher's office, isolated on his own, that was his classroom. I had just had a baby. I had his little brother, and my husband was also away. So this was something that came out of the blue, and I decided that, okay, I will talk to my son, find out what happened. And my son said there was a white boy who sat on his side, and he always poked him with his pencil. And one day he poked him so hard, he hit the boy's hand. And it was when he hit the boy's hand that the teacher saw it, and without asking any question, he picked up my boy, little desk and chair, and put it in front of the head teacher's office. Anyway, the long and short of it was that it became impossible to live in that area, so we moved. But before we moved, there was a boy in that school who always came to throw stones in our garden. And their house was a few doors up the road from us. And one Saturday, my boy was playing in the garden, and this boy came and threw a stone which hit him right between the eyes. He still got a scar of that injury. So he ran into the house, his face covered in blood, screaming. And I said, what happened? And he mentioned the boy's name. So I took a piece of tissue, mopped the blood, took it to the boy's house to show his mother, thinking that if that woman was an African woman, she would have been very horrified. I'm saying African woman because I know that's how we live. And she would have told the boy off. Maybe he and the whole family would have come to apologize and ask what they could do. I'm saying this because I'm an African, and that's what I know. So I took a tissue, mopped the blood, went to the woman's house to show her the blood, to show her what her son has done. He came out of the door as if he was fighting already with somebody. What do you want? And I said, is your son so-and-so? She said, yes. And I said, I've come to show you this tissue. He came and threw a stone into our garden. It was not like my son was outside playing. My son was in our garden playing. And your son threw a stone and it hit him right between the eyes. It could have been his eye. It just missed his eye. This woman called her boy and said, did you go to play in this woman's house? I don't want you to go there anymore because I hate black people. It shocked me. It shocked me to the point where I didn't know what to say to this woman. I realized that there was no point arguing with her or saying anything to her. A friend was visiting. She came with me. And my friend said, come on, let's go. So I had to go and nurse my son. So he had this problem in school, and a boy in the neighborhood just threw a stone at him. Okay, we used to have a friend, an old English lady, lovely English lady, and she was in her 80s, and she just loved, I made friends with her, and she would come to our home, and she loved Ghanaian food. So we'll have a meal together, and she will invite us to her home. And what she did was she baked cakes and scones, and every time she baked something, she would call me, Hannah, tell your husband and your son to come for some scones. And so this day they went. It was not the first time. We've been in and out with this lady's house. They've seen us. Whoever was watching would have seen us. And so my husband and my son went to this lady to pick up the scones. An hour later, she calls me. She said, Hannah, you will not believe this. And I said, what? She said, the police came here. I said, the police? Are you all right? What's going on? And she said, one of my neighbors called the police to report that two black men came into my house. And so the police came to find out if anything was stolen. Well, we laughed it off. We laughed it off because the idea that if you're a black person and you go into a shop or you go into anybody's house, your sole purpose was to steal something. That wasn't that wasn't very good. It's racist, but you learn to live with it, because if we want to fight racism, we will be fighting every day. And at the end of the day, they will point to us that we are the troublemakers, we are aggressive. When you talk about racism, people think you are talking about nothing. Okay. I think for these two, my time is up, so maybe this should be enough for my experience of racism. Thank you very much.